Hello and welcome back. I've been having a heck of a time keeping this old Barracuda Strat in tune. So we're going to look it over today, check the setup. I did a major setup on it about a week ago. Haven't done too much with it. Wanted it to kind of settle. And I seem to be having trouble getting it to stay in tune. By the time I tune all the strings, the bottom one's out again. So we're going to look it over that way and double check the setup on it. I did notice that I am getting a little bit of buzz up in the very high end on the low E. It's D for me because I've got it tuned down. Either way, the fattest string is doing a little bit of buzzing up in here. So I've checked down the length of the neck and there is a little bit of a bow to it. So what I'm thinking I might have to do is tighten the truss rod to try and drop the head down and make this a little more flat, and then use the lugs down below each side of the low strings here to raise that string and see if that does anything. The action at the 12th is about 2 millimeters now, so if I raise that much more, it's going to be out of my range. So that's why I'm wondering if I drop the neck, straighten this neck out completely, and then raise it a little bit, if I can still keep it in the 1.75 millimeter where I like to have it, and get rid of the buzzing up near the top. All the other strings are fine. There's no buzzing anywhere along it. But the other issue I'm having is I'm thinking there might be an issue with the neck and the neck attaching to the body, because it seems to have a little bit of play in it, like wibble wobble, and that's why I think I'm going out of tune very easily. So that's what we're going to do today. Off to the bench. So what we're going to need to do this today is the string winder to loosen off the strings so that we can get a good access to the truss rod through the neck here. And that, I'm hoping, once we tighten it, the tightening will drop the head or straighten the neck. Try to get it as straight as possible, and then we'll double check the action, make sure we get rid of the buzzing by raising the bottom string with the small Allen key, and there are two lugs either side of the string itself. So tightening will raise the saddle and loosening will lower the saddle, hence raising or lowering the action. So that's where we're going to go. First off, let's just give it a little bit of a twist. Want to loosen off a bit, because once you start tightening these lugs, you are going to put a lot more tension on the string. If it was in tune before, now it should be sharp. Check the height again at the 12th. Oops, sorry. And it's about 2 millimeters there, but have we got rid of the buzz? Yes. So maybe we just need that. Thanks for watching. Why? Takes me half an hour to set up this camera and get everything set up. And then I give that thing a couple of twists and everything's just fine. Well, not really just fine, because we are probably still going to have the tuning issue. So after so long of complaining about my tuner, I went out and bought a new tuner today. No names, not paid promotion. You'll probably recognize it, but so it's a little sharp. Give a wiggle. dead on the D. Good for the G, C, F, A, D. A little sharp on the D. Give it a little reef. And we're dead on. Go back through it one more time. Now the issue that I also think I might have, D's a little sharp, wiggle wiggle first off, and it goes dead on. Okay, so the other issue I might have is down here near the nut, the action tends to feel a little high too, because when I create the G chord, it feels a little sharp, which might just be that the action is bending the string too far. It's about 2 mil there. And it's about 2 mil there. Maybe that's more 175 down near the bottom. Either way, let's play a little bit here and see how it holds the tune. I'm going to try it one more time, make sure that the tune is where we want it. Slow down! Okay, so now I'm going to mess with it a little bit and see if how long it takes for this thing to come out of tune. So hang on. Okay, so I just messed around on it a little bit. I don't know if I recorded it or not. If not, probably better off because I wasn't doing very well. But I was just trying to put some kind of usage on it so I could tell. And I believe what happened was everything went sharp. So I'm starting to think that there's maybe an issue with the neck and keeping it solid on the body. So what we're going to do is throw this thing on the bench and tighten down the neck screws. Make sure everything there is solid. That's the first thing we got to do. So off to the bench. Which first means that we grab the pad to protect the nuts and all that, the switches and knobs. Lay this down, get out the Phillips. Which I had already left out. So first off, let's just double check these. Make sure that they're where they're supposed to be. So it's good to double check your work. And every time you're going to do anything on your guitar, check the strap pegs. For instance, that one was loose. Not that it bothers me much because I don't use a strap because, well, strap pegs. Okay. And these screws do seem tight each one of them has a little bit of movement, but like not enough to make the neck loose. So with that is at the body, because the body is much, this is a much lighter guitar than my Squire. And that knob, then the arm coming out of there is twisted. So it's probably just my OCD, but the knob removes fairly easily, and the arm is bent. So probably shouldn't be doing this, but it's a little bit straighter. Straighter enough. All right, so throw the tuner on it and double check the tuning. Way sharp. Put it in playing position. And it's in tune. So why does it sound like crap? Let's check some action up near the end. Action at the 12th, 2. 2. 2. 175 to 2. Do we loosen off the strings? Check the relief again. There's just a bit of bow to it, but there's a lot higher action up here than down here. So if I lower that and raise this, I think that's where we're going to go. It tends to stay in tune, but it doesn't sound right when I'm fretting down in this area. Now, if I was doing lead all the time, it might be fine. But I don't do lead. So let's go for it. Loosening off the strings. Of course, we are doing an adjustment on it. We're not going to be replacing the strings. So you loosen the skinny strings first. Okay, so we remove the strings from the tree and widen it out so that we have good access to the truss rod adjustment. And what we're wanting to do is tightening it. The tightening will drop the head, make it flatter. And you do not want to strip it. So you go through all of the Allen wrenches to make sure you get a good tight fit. That one's too big. So that one is too big too. Okay, so I've given it 2 twists. And that is flat. So let's tensionize, that's a word, the strings. I'm putting pressure on the strings to make sure that they wind down into the body. Ooh, that's bad. Okay. Looking down the neck again, fairly straight. The next thing that I might have to do is remove the nut and shave a bit off the bottom. That might be our issue too. But first off, let's bring it to tune, see how it sits. Okay, let's remove some of the gunk and then we'll check the action. Gonna take a little bit for it to settle. We've had all the strings loosened, so we're gonna give them a good reef. Okay, stretch. Brought it into tune, reef on it again, because it's going to take a couple of times before the strings get back to the proper tension they had a few minutes ago. Start it again. Okay, well that's now a drink. Let's check the action. At the 12th in milliometers. But 1.5, 1.5, 1.25, 1.25, 1.5, 1.5. So we can bring that one up a bit, but first off, let's go over every note. Okay, I'm not seeing much buzz, but we also want to make sure that our string height is fairly consistent across the board. Okay, so the lower 4 can come up just a hair. So this is probably going to go sharp, but I'm just going to give them about a quarter turn each, and we'll test them then. You really shouldn't do this with them under pressure, but it's a Barracuda. Okay, let's check the action again now then. At the 12th, 175, 150. But are we getting any buzzing? Okay, number 2, we are getting a little bit. So the second one can come up a little bit. Doing a quarter turn on either side. Should probably check down and make sure that I'm level that way, which I am. Okay, let's try it again. It was right in here was where I was getting the buzzing, so I'm there we have it. Okay, let's check the tuning again. Probably everything's pretty sharp. Well, I think we figured it out because it sounds a lot better now. Notes seem to stay in tune. We're at 175. Between 175 and 150. But 150, 150, 150, and 150. So about 175 on the first two, the thicker of the six, and then about 150 on the rest of them. So that's what we did. We were finding a little bit of buzzing up in here. And the notes just weren't sounding right. They sounded a little sharp or flat or something. Some of them were just not feeling right. So what we've done is we lowered the neck, tightened the truss rod, which in essence straightens out the neck so it is completely flat, raised a little bit of the action back here with the lugs either side of the strings, and now we've got it 175 at the first two and about 150 at the other ones. I am a finger picker, so that is optimum. So we're going to let this sit for another week, and then we'll come back and look at it again, because we did have the strings loosened off and retightened, so it's going to take a little while for it to kind of settle. Not a whole week, but that's how long it takes me to do videos, so voila. The Barracuda is back. Thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe. Check out my other videos on my site. Leave a comment below if you think I did something right, did something wrong. Probably next week what we'll get into is intonation as well, because I haven't done that yet. Just to recap, what we have done was last video we took the neck off and taped off all the frets, did just a kind of a light polishing. We didn't even check it to see if they were flat or not, but we haven't had any issues that way anyways. So, $100 Barracuda revamp continues. Catch you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye now.